important to.
Okay. That's right. Everything is reversed. Okay. So I think I'm live now. God, what a day. I know Thrift You is still on. We'll see if anybody is here. Moon Goddess Treasures and Belinda. Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm starting a little late. And no, I was joking around at Thrift Use thing, saying I was going to blame Sarah, but it's not Sarah's fault. I had some car issues and I had trouble getting home. So, yeah. I know I had to turn the sound down, so I know Sarah and Sam and Misty are still going. So that's okay. How's everybody's day been tonight? I walked into absolute chaos with a register half dismantled, so it was interesting tonight at work. It's just been a weird day for a lot of people. I've been hearing it all night at work tonight, that it's just been goofy stuff happening and, oddball things, because things either weren't working out or some little glitch made a small task turn into a big one. And I've been hearing this from my customers for the last 5 hours. So actually, I should get on my own channel because it makes it a lot easier to read my chat on the laptop. And I think I have it set tonight. I fiddled around with my phone before I came on because I was trying to figure out how to turn off the sound on the phone. And hopefully I didn't turn off the microphone. You guys can hear me, right? I'm not just talking to a screen and you guys are just trying to lip read, right? So it's been that kind of day. Somebody tried to call me just as I was trying to go live, so I had to figure out, how do I turn off all the notification noises so that you guys don't have a problem with that? You can hear me good. Good. So I have one box still out in the hallway. This is a box from out of the pantry. I have no idea what it is. Well, it's from out of the kitchen. This one is from out of the playroom. I don't know what it is. And then there's a stack of stuff here. And then there's a box in the hallway that I brought down that I kind of know what some of it is, because that's the box that, do you remember the little tree books and the little, what was the other one? One was sets of trees, and I think the other was birds. They came out of the box that's in the hallway. So, yeah. I had hoped to get, since I have the packing room, at least have my table back, I had hoped to get all the empty boxes off the pile behind me. So, because I want to get this cleared so that one of these sales, we just literally just start going through here, see what's here. So, good. I'm glad you could hear me. So, like I said, I don't know what any of it is. I just know that whatever this little sucker is, it's quite heavy. This one's heavy too, this white one. And so I suspect there's some books in there. There's still a lot of books hiding around here, partly because I had my own collection. And then my friend Nancy Bannis passed away and got another collection. So I did find this. This is really cool. Don't you love that cover? There are some people that collect just books that have the lithographs on the covers and have all this embossed work. I used to work at the Delaware Art Museum, and they got a collection. Even the edge has a pattern down it. Yeah, isn't that pretty? I don't know why. The chat is not moving on my phone at all, but it's moving down here, so that's okay. But these kind of books, sometimes they'll have something hidden. This is Henry T. Coates and Company of Philadelphia, but there's no year. I was kind of bummed that it had no year. Sometimes you could tell by the ads in the back. Let me see if I can find out, because it's definitely 1800s. But when I worked at the Delaware Art Museum, someone gave them a massive collection of these decorated cover books. And so there's some collectors that'll actually collect based on all this, not necessarily the plate here, but all this pattern here and how it was designed. I want a library in my house because I have enough books to fill one. I have boxes and boxes of books I haven't read yet. I'll tell you, in my early 20s, I worked at Walden Books. I worked at Walden Books for 8 years. I spent an awful lot of money when I was in my early 20s on books. And then when I look rested. No, I'm not. Actually, maybe because I finally got a cup of tea, had a chance to have dinner. But I love old books, and I think it's from having too few of them when I was a kid. And the only books I had my grandmother's copy of Little Women, and I had my mother's copy of Little Men. And then at some point, I found a copy of Joe's Boys, which is the third book of the trilogy. So I had that. I had my mother's copy of Alice in Wonderland. I still have that. It's held together with a ribbon. I have read it so much it is in pieces. I have her copy of Through the Looking Glass. I had Captain Noah's Prayers of the Animals. Now, if any of you are in the Philly area and are of a certain age, you will remember Captain Noah and Mrs. Noah being a local kids show that was early in the morning on the weekends. And the funny part of that was my father went to high school with him. He was a year or 2 years ahead of my father from Prospect Park High School. So, but these sometimes you'll find, and this one doesn't have it, but sometimes you'll find along the bottom edge an initial hiding, and that can help people identify them. But some of these are getting up being big money. I did look this one up, and this particular one goes for between about $12 and $16 because it's Milton's Paradise Lost. Might make it go a little more. But I think I may save this. Now, is this kind of book something you guys would want to see in a live sale? Because that's one thing too, is I normally would put this up on eBay because I don't know. Like I get it, that's for some craft books or books that are on vintage things. I think you guys would be right. But you guys would want to, okay. Well, then we're going to hang on to that for next week's live sale. Sit that carefully over there. And then this thing's heavy. It is got some issues. But look at that cover. Even with the issues, man, that's just friggin' phenomenal, isn't it? That's just friggin' awesome. It is missing the other part of the hinge. So, vintage wrapping paper is always a good thing. So this thing is, and the inside plates come apart, it's a photo album. I have no idea where it came from. I just know these aren't my relatives. So there's some foxing. I'll get it closer to see. It is the biggest book, yeah. And you can see all that. Where's the way to go? See all that little marks to the side? All them teeny tiny dots. That's called foxing. That's when mildew gets to the paper And see, I'm trying to be careful with it because the front cover's coming off. It's falling off. So let's see. Established May 1850, the National Historical Photographer C.D. Mosher, 125 State Street, Chicago. But I've no idea who that is. And with that collar, I don't know if he's a vicar or if that's just the collar has some. Yeah, and so unfortunately, like a lot of the images inside, they've got that mildew on them, those marks. Oh, come on. Behave. It's so friggin' heavy. But I picked this up helping out an estate clearance once. They were going to chuck it in the trash. Now, I can't figure out. Now, usually they dress a little girl for First Communion. They'll dress kids in white. So you've got her. But I don't know what he's dressed as. I don't know if it could be. And I also don't know if it's worth it to have it rebound. But it's just amazing. I always love the costumes, the clothing. Look at that dress. Look at that. You want to talk about shoulder pads of the 80s, got nothing on that dress. That dress is friggin' amazing. But Jesus, does she have to go sideways to get through a door? And the kids are just adorable. But geez, come on, man. I've seen football players with less shoulder than that. Uh-oh, what did I do? Oh. When my laptop died, my son gave me his, but his has this touch screen, and I just suddenly opened up Etsy. I don't want to open up Etsy. I want my channel. Thank you very much, so I can see the chat. Top chat, make top chat go away. Live chat. Oh, yeah, I should thumbs up my own. There we go. 10 thumbs up. So, I don't know. I think shoulder pads in the 80s weren't quite as bad as that. Now, I do know that these old photos could sometimes be worth some money, especially if they're special interest, like this one. See, so some of the old photos I could put on eBay, but there's nothing to ID. This one doesn't even have where it's marked, and I think he's higher up in the church too, looking at that outfit. He's all dressed in velvet. Big cross hanging on him. At least that one says, oh, wait, that says who it is. The most reverend or most revered Archbishop P.J. Ryan, D.D. Now, D.D. is Doctor of Divinity. I do know that. But LL period D period. I don't know what the LL is. But it's from Philadelphia. Some of these, man. You never know when you find sometimes when you find famous people ones or military ones, they can really be worth something. I like this. She's looking right at the camera, but he's like, I don't know what he's looking at. Not her, that's for sure. Yeah, Anglican would be Doctor of Divinity. Usually, though I think they may still use that here. I can't, can I get that one out? This one is interesting. Now he's in, that's got the buttons all the way down on him. But can you see the edges of that? It's actually patterned all the way around. It's cut. That's not mouse bites. That's actually trimmed that way. I've never seen that before. I know I have a few military ones, not from this, but um, that I need to find because I know they can fetch a pretty penny and that'll help take care of that heater. Now, this one's an old postcard. I love the backdrops they had. You know, they would just, sometimes these things were itinerant guys that would just go around and they'd rent a spot. Now, this one says made in Canada. That they would rent a place and then hang the backdrop up. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a family that was pretty religious and oh, oh. This is why you should sometimes not let your mom cut your hair while she's mad at dad. You just stick a bowl on that kid's head and just shave around it. Oh, wow. That hairdo. Oh, that's pretty bad. Now, what's this one? This one's awfully dark. It's another postcard one, says made in Canada. This one intrigues me if I can get it out of here because you don't often see the little like the babies with these old cabinet photos because you know little kids move around, but she's got the baby in her lap. And that's a nice little family grouping. That looks cute. But yeah, you really don't often see the baby. And what on earth did they do the baby? So they have a piece of black material wrapped around the baby. And then it's part of it's over the mother's lap. Can I get close enough that you guys can see that? Hopefully that's not blurring out on you guys. But they've got some piece of material wrapped around the kid. Maybe they were afraid that the white would glare too much with these old cabinet photos. Here's one that's a little newer. I would say that outfit's probably the 30s. Oh, something's embossed on it. Bugger all. It looks like it's in French. Something de la Maybelline QUE. So that would be Quebec. Yep, made in Canada. See, the outfits are changing. And so is the haircut. Skirt that high. Oh, 1920s? Well, it's hard to get. There we go. You read French? I may send that to you typed out if I can figure it out. It's hard to read because they embossed it. Like I can see it backwards, but it's embossed on the corner down here, and you can't, unless the light hits it a certain way, you can't read it. So let's see here. I think this is a guy and his mother. Well, this has a date. Oh, I can't read that part. Water's gotten on that. Mr. Oh no, Mr. and Mrs. Francis Furquion, Beaumont, 1909. She looks a bit older than him. But that one's another postcard. Now I'm sorry for him wobbling too, because my hands. I know the baby could be dead, though they don't often show a dead baby with the eyes open. Because I've seen some of those in my own family photos. This is another one cracks me up. Where do you see the shoulders on this dress? Look at that big piece. That's a serious collar with a lace jabot over it. Yeah. Polly's, is that what you think it is? That he was a gold digger? Who's this fellow? Oh, it's got a lot of printing in the back. So this is from Quebec. Or is it Quebec? I never remember. A.R. Roy Studio Photographique. I flunked French. Photograph Studio. There we go. You can see some of the words there. They had some serious Quebec. But that's the end of that one. But yeah, isn't that was a wild find. So I will most likely put a lot of those pictures up on eBay. You know, I think I have one of the military ones I found recently. Yeah, I've got two. That one's a Navy one. And then this one's probably World War I. And he's got, look at them boots. But these two I found coming out of a book. Doesn't say, they're both postcards. It doesn't say where that one came from. And wherever this one came from, it came out of an album. And it says Atlantic City Souvenir. Photo by Phillips, and it gives the address on the boardwalk. And that's that guy who probably, you know, was about to get shipped out or something, and then Levis, Quebec is close to the East Coast. Okay. But I found those two stashed in an old book. Jodhpurs, yeah, you saw them come out. Let's see. Have a stack of these kind of kids books. I sold two at the last one. This is where the Johnny Horizon books came from, but they're mostly like golden books, except this one. This one's a souvenir book with Indians of the Western states. And it's got that on the back. You know, I wondered if anybody would even want that album, Theophane, simply because it's in such poor shape because the cover's about to fall off. It's only held on at the bottom. You have a collection of, well, that's a beautiful Victorian photo album, that's for sure. I might. I don't know. I haven't really decided too much. I need to look it up and see what works out for me for, oh, there's no date in this one. What works out for me, because the shipping would be high. Now, this is the Golden Book of Indian Stamps. And of course, these all had the stamps done. I will let you know, Theophane. Oh, that nun photo. I love the nun photo. I do love that. I've got rocks and minerals, stars and planets. Now this is a how and why book. Primitive man. I'm betting these are all from the 60s or 70s. Let's see. 1961 for this one. And, oh, the Golden Exploring Earth books. I've got 3 of those. I have the human body. I have the science one. And I have oceanography. You know what I do like about these is I really like the color illustrations because they're usually, even the photographs, are usually pretty good. But they've all got great colors in them. I just haven't figured out what to do with them. The one drawback of having dust allergies and being around old books. Some of my books make me sneeze. I found out that a lot of Whitman books make me sneeze because they use this really pulp paper that's just like rag pulp paper, and it's just yes, bless me repeatedly, because I never sneeze less than twice. And that noise you get is what happens when you stop a baseball with your face. You'll break this piece and it'll vibrate forever. Geese answer when I blow my nose near Canadian geese. I think they look around wondering which one of them got hurt or is in trouble. Okay, so let's see. This thing. What is in here? Dusty stuff. That's what's in here. I mean, literally, I just pulled them right out of the kitchen. So, oh, okay. I could use this. It's a blank ledger book. That could come in handy. Yeah, it's really sad when the people don't want it anymore. I don't know what's going to happen because my son just feels like he's got no connection to like the great big portraits in the hallway of Amos and Alice Trout. Because, you know, he doesn't really want them. And they're these huge, you know, like this wide and this high, these huge pictures, and he doesn't want them. And I don't actually know where most of the Trout cousins are to see if they'd want them, because it's their branch of the family that we all came from. All right. Oh, you're heavy and you're wrapped in a tea towel. Oh, you're something that I probably picked up for my son, even though your head's been put back on. He likes this Asian stuff. I tend to like the Japanese stuff more. He's solid too. He's heavy. Okay, so that was probably something for Michael. A nice tea towel. Oh, there's a hole in it. There's a hole in it. It's a neat pattern though. But since it has a hole in it, I'll probably save that. He's not a doorstop. He's just a little statue. How tall are you? He's a little over 8 inches high, but he is heavy. But he looks cool. I mean, I like the fact that they've carved a lot of little details. There's the little things on the shoulders there. All the armor on the back has all its little plates. His feet just look weird because his feet are kind of squared off and blocky. Now, he's not bronze. He feels like he's stone. And that's what the bottom looks like. And the bottom's really rough. Oh, yeah, the bottom's really rough. That's dirt. I just dug my fingernail through it. Did somebody have him buried in the yard? Okay. And I know that's that's probably was something meant for my son. Okay, what else is here? Oh, this would be cute. It's just a giant square thing. I don't have many snowmen, but I could use that to sit things up on top of to decorate with. I should clean that up and put it with my box of stuff. What is this? The craziest Halloween. Oh man, look at that. This poor little witch. So what is told and illustrated by Ursula von Hippel? I wonder what the dust jacket used to look like. I like the little illustration on the cover. It's so cute. This is so cool. She's tiny. Where's a picture of her up against real people? Look how little she is. She's teeny. That's my kind of story. I have a couple of really old Halloween storybooks packed away that are mine. So that one was probably meant to be added to the collection. What are you? Stone Ginger Press, Flower Baskets, Quilts, an old note card. Well, not even that old. I'll use that. Because some stuff that I sell on eBay is so tiny, it's just stickers. I stick them in note cards. Come out, come out. Whatever you are. Now, that's some old kitchen stuff. Now, I'm betting from these handles that this one is older than this one, because this one is stainless steel, just has a wooden handle. Doesn't look like there's any color on the handle. I don't see a maker's name impressed on the handle anywhere, but there's something on the... We'll find out. Yeah, I really think that ladle is older. Foley USA chrome plated. So that's what this one is. Chrome plated, made by Foley USA. Okay. But this, now the handle's a little wobbly. That's pretty cool. You know, it's just a decorative thing. That looks pretty cool. It's dusty. It needs to get cleaned up. I wonder what it's made out of. It's just got a nail through there to hold the handle in. I think this bowl might be punched tin. Yes, vintage Halloween is ridiculously expensive, which is why I have very, very little of it. I don't know, but it's a beautiful handle and worn in beautifully smooth. That's a nice piece of wood turning right there. That is nice. So now what do I do with this sucker? My mother, man, for her to throw out a decoration, it would have to have been in pieces. My mother never threw out any of them. But then with 6 kids, you know, a lot of the decorations she had were a lot of the old cardboard ones now. Who was it? Bissell, who made a lot of them. And we have a few left, but they're all taped together every which way to Sunday, most of them. Yeah, it's funny. For all the wood carving I do, I don't actually know how to tell woods apart. I don't know my woods that well. Oh, I think this is the dinosaur. No, it's just the head of the dinosaur. It was a puzzle, and even the head comes all apart. And you can see that fits in there. Okay. You think Sarah could use a dinosaur head in the assemblage? Well, that's a little goofy thing. Well, there's part of some craft thing, because that's paper canvas for something. Maybe the rest of it's in here. See if I can get this down lower. Because I figured I could just pull stuff out, but stuff does not want to pull out and cooperate. Oh, I did find these 2 things too, but they're kind of fragile. Would you want this on top of your wine bottle? I mean, that's a cork with his little head and her eyes open and shut. She's got little earrings in. The corks are really, really dry because the other one, the cork broke off. The other one's really cool. I think he looks fantastic, but his cork broke. And he's heavy. He's metal, and he's painted up. He's beautiful paint job to him. So he's really cool. So they're probably going into the next live sale if anybody likes a rooster. Oh, I know what this is. Does it say George Trout? My great uncle, who taught me wood carving, it's got his little impress on there. He used to make picture frames. So that's one of the ones he made. I know exactly where that's going. I promised my cousin if I found a round one, he could have it. So that is going to get mailed to Texas. Okay, there's more of these. And more. Oh, a pattern. Black, gray, white, red, beige, brown. That's not all the colors in there. Maybe that's not to this. Whoop, don't fall down. Now that's more like it. That's a cardinal. Now that would make sense for the colors that are here. Okay, so it's some kind of little cardinal set. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Well, oh, a sharpening stone. Oh, wow. It's actually, okay, so it's actually got the packaging with it. But it's so worn, it doesn't fit well in the packaging anymore because it's so worn. Okay, I think that's cool. Just because I'm goofy that way for all small tools. That is kind of cool. See, I like that just because I use sharpening stones. What else is here? Old Mr. Boston, official bartender's guide. Oh, look at the end papers. That's pretty cool. Some old books have the coolest end paper illustrations. So, Old Mr. Boston Guide, copyright 1935. This is the third printing from October 1936. Oh. Enclosed find. Really? Okay, so in its day, it was 35 cents. Yeah, you have coupons that you could give to your friends and have them mail it in with 35 cents, and so they could order their own copy. That's pretty cool. When I used to do a lot more of the operettas and stuff, we used to joke around and we would go through some of these old bartending books and pick out different drinks to make. Like a sleepyhead highball. I love the names of some of these things. Skyrocket cocktail. Has Swedish punch in it, but I don't know what Swedish punch is. Macabre assemblage art? Yeah, I think somebody already was kind of going a little macabre with her with the cork on her. Opera cocktail. Maraschino, Dubonnet, Old Mr. Boston dry gin, stir well in ice, and strain into a cocktail glass. And the center has these cool lithographs for different things. That's cool. Photocopy some of those on cardstock. What is it you think should be photographed on cardstock? Oh no, all this stuff is part of the massive inheritance. And yeah, and bless my sister. My sister was here while I was at work and dropped off all our Christmas presents because I blew my entire budget of discretionary money at Thrift U tonight because there was a dish that had a vintage fairy on it. And those buggers are so incredibly hard to find. And I paid $50 or $55 for this thing. And I'm like, well, there goes my budget for the rest of the month. And then I get here and there's a card from my sister with a $50 bill in it. So I can't wait. She's going to think I'm nuts that I spent it on a dish, but I'm not going to tell her. But it's just such a cool little thing. And it's so hard to find vintage fairies. You can find angels all over the place. You can find pixies all over the place. But you can't always find fairies. So, and poor Ivy Bell, man, she and I were going at it. We were the last two. Okay. Other than looking like a torture device. What is it? I know it's something to do with patterns, and I never really knew what. And this is an old one because it's got a big wooden handle. I did miss a $1 sale. I wasn't able to be at that. Anybody? Oh, a leather tool? I know, like in all the sewing stuff, we'd find them, and I know they had like the really old ones. You used to get patterns that were just a blank sheet of tissue paper and then instructions, and you had to actually figure it out and make your own pattern. My mother knew how to do that because her grandmother taught her, but it never taught me any of it. Oh, this is nice. Is it marked? Oh, it's... Oh, I think that goes with what's in here. There's the remains of a box, which I'm trying to get to. That's a pretty piece. I have a couple of these. I have a small collection of these, and there is some kind of mark over here. I know some basic sewing, but my mother used to be able to make her own patterns and stuff. And shoemaker's kids have no shoes. Seamstress's daughter can't. She never taught me how to lay a pattern out on a piece of material. Now, if you're doing craft stuff, it doesn't matter quite so much. But if you're doing clothing, knowing the direction of the material, there's something about the direction of the weave and the stretch of it, and there's stuff you need to know, and I never learned any of it. Oh, you are hard. Oh, I can't read that. That is not a good impression at all. Probably says Williamsburg. I have a couple of pieces. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. I think that's going to stay with my stuff. Now, I see lots of little pieces in here. Another note card. Tuck that in there with the other note cards. See, there's a box that has self-destructed. And that box, buttonhole. Oh, so it might have been a buttonholer. It's the other half. Button, button, button. Famous buttonhole worker. So the cardboard's completely shot. But let's sit you in there because I gotta have somewhere to put all this. So the instructions are kind of there. Wow, this is like keyed list of parts illustrated in photo. This is the operating instructions printed in the USA. No date anywhere? I'd love to find a date. No date. But yeah, this is pretty beat. So that's what it looks like all together. Okay, so there's a piece. And wow, this thing's hefty and dusty. Look at this thing. Looks like something steampunk, doesn't it? Wow. That's that is a really beat up piece of tailor's chalk. Oh, this thing is really okay. There's another piece to it. Something like that I am probably going to put up online as is and let somebody figure it out. Just a little box. Might have held some of the pieces. Another piece of the box. Put that instruction thing up there with it. Oh, that's a carving. That's a carving thing. I'll put that with my others. I don't think I see any more parts, but there's more stuff. Fashion suede. Create your own chokers and bracelets. I know there's a bag of this stuff around somewhere. It's got ideas of what you can do with it. My mom used to use it to make belts for dolls. I know there's more of it around. So this is much bigger than you thought. What? The Yeah, that buttonholer is huge and heavy. So that's gotta be before the, like, I have another buttonholer that's actually for the 1940s sewing machines. That thing has got to be from before then. Maybe it's for a treadle machine. It definitely has that steampunk vibe going to it. I have been looking for these buggers, and I knew they'd been in the kitchen, and then they vanished. They're in here. Hedgehogs! Hedgehogs, hedgehogs, hedgehogs. I love hedgehogs. I think they are so stinking cute. Oh. Oh, a cabinet sewing machine? Oh, pretty. I love them. They are so much better than the modern ones. A lot of the modern ones have plastic gears, so if they break, they just break and you can't really fix them. But I have, I learned what little I do know how. I can at least sew a straight line. Mom taught even the boys how to hem their own pants, how to sew a button on, and how to at least do a straight stitch, not only in hand sewing, but on a sewing machine. But we all learned on a 1929 Singer, which was really old. It was the first year it was not a converted treadle, and that was the machine we all learned on. Now, I have a 1940s cabinet machine from my great aunt, but I had it all refitted out, and it's up in my bedroom, and I've hardly ever had a chance to use it. Okay, so this is more of these, but there's at least an envelope now, so it can... says 14 cardinals. I don't think 14 cardinals are fitting in this envelope. I'll have to take a look at that. Maybe I can make some little ornament, because they look like they'd be about that size for a little ornament in a container. I have a whole basket upstairs that's all little frames for making little cross-stitch images, and then you put it inside the little frame to make little ornaments out of. Oh, this is some old onion paper. Yeah, this is from my aunt's estate. No, and from the address that's on there. So this is old onion skin paper, and I know I have sold some in the past because there are people that who collect onion skin paper. There's people who do artwork with it too. Now this has, if I can see it, oh, it goes this way. I'm trying to look for this is Esleek, ESLEECK, Fidelity Onion Skin. Now this piece is messed up. You can see a mark here, and it's got a name and address up here of somebody who's long gone. So that piece isn't great, but there's a few more. Now, I don't know if the junk journals reuse that or not. I don't think that goes in the box. The box paper instructions was for a regular sewing machine. Well, I don't know. You mean this one? If you look at the picture, that's the actual picture. That's actually this. So it's the right paperwork, and it does say famous on it. But that box, I don't know. That box is just completely dried out cardboard. It's just completely crumbling. Oh, that's cute. It's just a candlestick holder. I know I've seen another one of these bouncing around in the kitchen somewhere in a separate box. Oh, more parts. Put that over there. Now, I know, though I'm not giving up any, I'll try to restore this because I could use a tiny thin blade for wood carving. Yeah, see, this needs to be cleaned Well, that part's actually a file. But I know old pocket knives can be worth a lot of money. The trick is identifying who made it, and getting the blades to come out can sometimes be a challenge. Like this one. I can't get that out of there. So I'll have to take a look at that one later. And I've been looking for a small one like this because I needed to do some, because the blades are smaller, there's a lot of little fine work I can do with it. Because in Boy Scouts, you usually you do teach them how to use the chisels, but most kids have a pocket knife. So I teach them how to do this with a pocket knife. And it's also part of the safety, because I have taken more than one totem chip away from a kid for messing around with their pocket knife in ways they shouldn't. And I will definitely do that for safety's sake. I will take their totem chip away, which means they cannot carry a pocket knife. So it's just a random checker. Oh, I know where this should be. This should not be in here. This should be in a box in the attic. That is Legolas's bow for the Lord of the Rings action figures. There were not many toys my kid wanted to keep as he got older. We have all the wooden Thomas the Tank Engine stuff packed away. He wanted to keep that. We have, we still have his Molly doll from the big red couch. What was it? Comfy Couch, Molly and Lunette the Clown. And so, okay, so this is probably pages that I pulled out of this to look at. It's an old copy of Victoria magazine. So we're going to drop you right down there because I'll take a look at that. But he kept his Molly doll, and he kept Max, what he'd had since he was born, which is this little stuffed dog. But then he wanted to keep the Lord of the Rings action figures, because they are really, really incredibly detailed and well made for action figures. Now let's see. This says Pan Am, and then it says stationery. Oh my goodness, a Valentine. I didn't think I had any. But look who's on it. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is so friggin' cool. 1940 Superman Incorporated, made in the USA. That is awesome. Oh, wow. I can remember watching the New Jersey Public Broadcasting System used to have some of the most fabulous stuff. And they had an old black and white serial that was Superman with George Reeve. Was that his last name? I know there was another Superman later. His last name was Reeves, but I'm trying to think who the first one was. Oh man, that's probably going into my china closet. Oh yeah, that needs to be framed to protect that sucker. Well, 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 what did I just find besides that? Okay, so it said Pan Am stationery, right? So there's Pan Am stationery from Saudi Arabia. So, and the back one has that and has the Aramaic. Well, that's different. I know they got sent, and it's got the Pan Am. Oh, my hand's over it. Sorry. Wait a minute. It's got the Pan Am labels. George Reeves. Okay. I thought it was George Reeves. Hi, Catherine. Don't worry, Catherine. There's not a sale tonight. It's an unboxing. Because like towards the end of last week's sale, I had talked about the fact that I got completely overwhelmed in December. So for this month and next month, I need to take time off of the live sales and do them every other week so that I can really get stuff squared away. Now here's what the one I want to know. Headquarters, Air Force Office of Scientific Research, Air Research and Development Command, dated the 11th of October, 1957. Memorandum for all concerned, and it's contract security precautions. So, Armed Forces Industrial Security Regulation, it gives the number, requires certain security precautions to be taken in the cases of contracts wherein the principal investigator or other contractor employees find it necessary to have access to classified information. I have a feeling that this was never meant for public eyes. So let's see. So a project monitor receives a request. They have to determine if it's need to know. If need to know is approved, then they have to get a letter of notification in lieu of a DD form indicating degree of security classification required by the access request. Then you have to have the need to know approval. You have to have the facilities clearance, the principal investigator's clearance, and then the facility has to prove their ability to properly safeguard classified information. And then, as if that's not all enough, the project monitor then has to forward the letter and all documentation to another person for processing and then distribution. Wow. And it's signed the Inspector General, John Stone. It's got his signature on the bottom. Yeah, doing a dig in your own home in a comfy chair. Wow, that's an interesting memorandum to find. Never found anything like that before. Yeah, stick that back in there with the other paperwork it came from. So, one estate that's here, they traveled all over the world because the dad did something. Never, ever knew what. But the cousins lived all over the world. Now, I have a lot of that stuff. Now, my aunt was an American Airlines stewardess right after the war. I mean, literally right after, when they were converted military aircraft. And there's a lot of early American Airlines stuff here. I've been selling that stuff off for a couple of years now as I find it. But I've never found anything from the uncle. That's from the uncle. Oh, this is cute. This is just a little photo album. I could use that. There are stacks of photos on the kitchen. Your buttonholer is for Singer machines, patented in 1916. Wow. That's awesome. I should write that down. I'll forget. Because mind like a steel sieve some days. Buttonholer. Everything was for Singer back then, wasn't it? That's cool. Thank you, Melissa. Hi, Angela. Yeah, I don't think that's classified anymore after all this time. I am not completely caught up on all the invoicing. But everything is now actually upstairs where the packing room is, so it'll be a lot easier to pack everything out. And I want to get all the invoices done this weekend. I'm going to do as many as I can tomorrow and on Saturday, because on the sometime next week, the postal rates change. So I still have a few invoices. I have, the papers upstairs. There's still 9 of you. And one I was waiting to hear back from, because I didn't know, she only had one little thing, and I didn't know she wanted me to wait until the next one. Yeah, and Monday's a holiday, but I have to work that day. I know where I kept this. This is just a cool piece of wood. I don't know, like, what would do that, because this is the outside of the tree. That was the inside chunk. I forget where we found this. We found this on a camping trip somewhere with Boy Scouts. And it's just such a neat piece. Oh, no, I know these were for me. Isn't they cute? Salt and pepper shakers. Let's make the one turn around so we can see her. My little snowman. I love snowmen. So there's her. Oh, is that what that would be? Gum sap that has solidified? Aren't they cute? Such a cute little couple. They're just Hallmark plastic. They've got the original box. I was looking for these too. I knew they hadn't gotten stashed in with the holiday stuff yet. So I'll dust the box off and I'll get them packed away. I now have Instagram. I'm still figuring out how to use it. But I posted a picture of Mad Elf Ale of one of the old Scout moms. It's a friend of mine. Oh, there's the other one. Anyway, she gave me, I've got the two. She gave me the box for this Mad Elf Ale, and they only make it once a year. And it is the coolest looking thing. So I said, when she posted on Facebook, I'm like, oh, I so want that. I want that box. She thought I was nuts. I'm like, no, I want the box. Because the graphic on the box is so funny that I could keep it and use the box to store stuff for Christmas, and then put the box under the tree as decoration, because it's got this bizarre little elf. All right, that's something else, Lord of the Rings, because that's somebody's sheath for their sword. And that looks like some rusty sewing needles in the bottom. So put them right into the trash. And we'll sit that box there. We'll put the piece of wood back in it. And we'll put that back in it. This was also in there. Now that's the peg part. And it's not broken. So that's an interesting little spindle thing. No idea what it's off of. Now, see, that kind of thing I'd probably just hang on to, and I'd like stick it in the curio shelf. So, Catherine, yeah, Catherine, next week will be a sale. Will be a live sale next week. Because like December just kind of swamped me. I put Superman up there out of the way. And I could not juggle an eBay store, an Etsy store, working at my actual job, keeping up with the live sales, and trying to get, because if you notice, like there has been precious little content on my channel, because I could not keep up with it. And then also trying to clear out here is a full-time job in of itself. And I've been helping a friend's mom clear stuff out, so that I will go and I will fill up my car, and I can keep some and stuff, then I also am like helping her get stuff out of their house. And it sounds like their house is kind of stuffed as well. So, oh. Wow, little, these aren't tote bags. What are they when they've got the, backpack, I guess? Yeah, it does kind of look like a Newell Post finial, but to me it seems like it'd be kind of small. Oh yeah, it could be. It could be for old curtain rod. Not from this house, because the wooden curtain rods in this house are at the other end in the hallway for the living room and dining room, and they're just a wooden pole that sets inside the doorway. Yeah, and see, I have work, and then work has been, they cut my hours, but now they've kind of basically put me on call. And I'm also trying to find a specialist to look at my knee, because I'd had foot surgery quite a few years ago because my knee started acting up, and here it was the problem in my foot. And they had ground down 8 bones in my foot. And so I had 6 weeks of bed rest while those joints all had to regrow. I got very good at Call of Duty Black Ops. I got extremely good at Minecraft. And by the time I had healed and my kid was away at Boy Scouts for a week, I didn't have much to do. I was starting to build Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings in Minecraft. And this was back before they had creative mode. This is when you had to cut down trees, mine everything, all the harder stuff to do for this Minecraft program, which you could build things in. So, oh, we're going to hang on to that for a little bit. I know what that one is. Oh, which reminds me, I have to get those letters back from my sister. And we'll find out who the mystery man is that my mother was talking about. And this will be interesting. So, now see, I used to do a lot of decoupage craft stuff. This is an unopened thing of Wallies, but they're fairies. I don't know if they even make Wallies anymore. Wallies are just these little wallpaper cutouts. And you get a whole bunch of them. I have some in my kitchen that are a teacup and saucer to cover up the 1970s looking tiles that are in there. So that's a little crafty thing. Oh, your arm's coming undone, dude. He should probably be in my china closet. He's an old celluloid. Yeah, he's or styrene. He's that early hard plastic. And looking at this material, this is some really old cotton. I'm trying to see if he has a maker's mark on him, but I don't want to mess with that material too much. What else is in here? Oh no, this one looks like he has a composite face. But something's wrong because one leg is longer than the other, so his hip must be out of whack. But the face looks like it's a paper mache composite. But his hands are plastic, and it feels like his legs are plastic. Now, this kind of stuff I would put on eBay, and I have to test this for Bakelite. But this is an old light switch, or not light switch. I have light switches, but this is just an old plug part that would go in the wall. But it's very possible that that's Bakelite, and there are Bakelite collectors that will even collect this kind of stuff. So I'll have to test that. And I do the 409 test. There, I will take a cotton Q-tip and I will put 409 on it, and the 409 changes color. Yeah, see, it's a lot of variety here. I had to laugh because at Thrift Use thing, they said, how do you decide, you got to decide what things to sell because you got to know your market and all that. And I'm laughing to myself going, not me. I just throw it against a live sale and see what sticks, because I have this huge variety, and some stuff is better for eBay. And then other stuff is better for the live sales because it's a different market. Oh, wow. Talk about now. Ugh. This is hard metal case and hinged. Check these out. Wow. That's some old frames. I wonder. Yeah, the arms are short enough. Guess some of this, whoever it was, had some serious bifocals on here. Trying to think whose glasses they might have been. Not Annie Al, that's for sure. These might have been nannies. These might have been my grandmother's. Wow, I can. Whoa, holy, whoa. That is some serious killer bifocals. I could see through the top part, and I could see pretty well, but good. I'm not looking through those bifocals again, man. They made my eyes go wonky. That's some killer bifocals there, man. Like, you can even see them. The odd part is like they're way over. They're not centered. They're way over to the side. Yeah, they don't look bad. I saw, I wonder what they're made out of. I wonder if they're lucite. I can't read that tiny stuff. Well, I don't have my glasses on. What am I doing? So I know I have, every time I found eyeglasses and stuff, I usually have tossed them into a little bag that hangs in the hallway, hanging off the little desk. And when it's full, I'd take it and drop it off at the Lions Club thing. I'm sorry that I don't have my very first glasses. I was 12. Don't judge me. I was 12. So I saw for the first time this guy who does parodies on YouTube called Randy Rainbow. Well, the guy is incredibly talented, but he puts on these cat's eye pink glasses with rhinestones up on the part. And I have to laugh. Now, his are phony, just kind of for fun ones. When I was 12, that's what I had. My very first pair of glasses was the pink cat's eye with rhinestones. Do you know how much money people pay to have those suckers now? And quite frankly, if I still had them, I so would have the lenses put in them for these glasses. I would love to have those. I think they'd be great. But I do need new glasses because it's getting harder to see, and these broke. I lost the nose piece, and you know what they told me? That, well, you can drop them off and we'll fix them and you can pick them up in 2 or 3 days. I can't drive without my glasses. I can't see more than 10 feet too well without my glasses. And because I had damage to my eyes as a teenager, I have no depth perception without my glasses on. I can see about 6 feet and then everything looks flat. It's really weird, but that's just how my eyes work. During a graduation party, some jackass threw vodka in my eyes, and it basically burned a layer of the eyes off a bit. Oh, some of this is, and so I have problems with depth perception. Okay, this is a big enough lot that some of this is going to come to you guys and some of this is going to go to eBay. There is a whole stack here of Rosebud perfume, and it's the labels. Come on, focus. Is it focusing? That is cool. And it's a whole stack of them. It's a whole stack. It's a big stack. Look at all that. Rosebud perfume. Something Maryland. Patent applied for. No date. Okay. And they've got the gummy, like the kind you would just kind of like lick and gum kind of stuff. So there's those. Okay. They were all in his bag. So there's all those. They sell online cheap. Oh, I will have to look. As long as I have to make sure I get the number for the length of the arm, because most of my life, my glasses as an adult would fall forward, and it's because the arms were too long. I didn't have the right arm length. Now I have, they told me this pair of glasses, they said was a pair of kids' glasses. This is the first time in years I have not been constantly pushing my glasses up because they're the right arm length. So let's see, what else is here? There's an envelope. Established RP Company 1895. So there's this envelope for Rosebud Hair Tonic. And then there's a couple of these. There's what? There's 4 of these. Professor Smith's Hair Tonic and Dandruff Remedy. Price 10 cents. Label registered 1903. And trademark registered with U.S. Patent Office May 14, 1907. So there's 4 of these. Yeah, I don't know. I have my insurance is through the Affordable Care Act, so I don't know if I could get LASIK. I do know this. They'll pay for the eye exam. They don't pay for much else. So I have to, everything else, I have to get anti-glare because my eyes are real light sensitive. So like doing this with these bright lights, my eyes are not focusing well on my phone. But it's partly because the glare, bright lights bother my eyes. So I have to get the non-glare coating. And then I have graduated lenses because I finally had to get bifocals in there. And the coating alone is $100. And then I've got to pay for, whoa. One of these is open. I got to pay for the frame and the lenses all out of pocket. So this is open. Uh-oh. Okay, so there's 2. Oh, this one's got a hole in the bottom. All right, let's not have that go over the keyboard. So it's Rosebud Sachet. Beautiful lithographed. I'm pinching the bottom of this one because there's a hole in the bottom. And I don't want this stuff all in my keyboard. So, and then this one is open. There's a little paper thing inside. And it's the same thing. So I just tapped it there and made more mess. Well, put that on the carpet. All right. So I will break some of that up, and some of this will go on eBay, but some of this I'll save for you guys for the live sale. What I can do duplicates of. My son wants me to see about getting contact lenses, but I don't know if I can because I had an accident and something went into this side, into the eye, and there's a little scar there. So where it sits, I don't know that contacts. Well, I used to get, like I said, this is the last pair I got through the doctor's office. And these frames, the pink is what I wanted. Purple. I wanted purple glasses, and the purple's starting to fade off. And they finally said, well, I have some purple glasses, but they're kids' glasses, but they are on sale. So these frames cost me $30 because they were getting rid of them. It is just through a fluke that I got the kids' glasses, and they're the first ones that actually fit my head right. So from now on, that's what I want. I want the kids' glasses, or at least the length of the arm. Let's see. This has an original price tag on it. I'm betting I bought this, and then, oh, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. $20 price tag. So I'm betting I bought this at some point. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. That's just beautiful. That is lovely. Yeah, I'm sure I bought this at some point because I have another one upstairs somewhere where it's embroidered, and then they somehow put the coloring in around it. I don't know if they're made that way and then you embroider over it. I don't know, but that's beautiful. Number 40 pillow, Vogue, New York. That's what it says on the selvage. That's just so cool. Good night, Sue. Oh, Melissa, you have fibro? Yeah, rheumatologists have been talking to me about fibro, but she's pretty sure it's early stages of lupus for me, which another reason why I really need to get things organized so that I can keep doing eBay, Etsy, and YouTube as a job. Because one, with my health issues, I don't know that they're taking me to the new store when it's finished being built. Two, I don't know that another manager would want to keep me around because of the health issues. In a gas store, I don't think they have that luxury. So that's why I'm taking these 2 months and alternating, because I've got to really crank things out here and change things up because of the fact that I may need this to become the full-time job. Oh, let's see. What's this one? The Only True Mother Goose. Neat looking picture. Okay, so an exact reproduction of the text and illustrations of the original edition, published and copyrighted in Boston in the year 1833 by Monroe and Francis, and the introduction by the Reverend Edward Everett Hale. Edward Everett, I know that name from something. Edward Everett Hale did something else. I know he did. Printed in Boston. That little tiny image has this teeny little image. This thing has 1904 on it. So it kind of gives us an idea. Yeah, I know. I'd be quite happy to not go. Okay, published in August of 1905. So, where, oh, where? The only true Mother Goose melodies without addition or abridgment. Okay. There's one of the first illustrations to it. Look at these illustrations. They're nice. I do like this, though. This is funny. The rose is red, the violet blue, the gillyflower sweet, and so are you. These are the words you bade me say for a pair of new gloves on Easter Day. So I thought that was going to start off being some cute little Valentine's thing, but apparently it's no, you made me say this so that I would buy you gloves or something. That's strange. I've never heard of some of these Mother Goose rhymes. I have never heard of There Was an Old Woman, and what do you think? She lived upon nothing but victuals and drink. Victuals and drink were the chief of her diet, and yet this old lady scarce ever was quiet. That is not in any Mother Goose I ever read growing up. Precious Lavender Buttons, you think that was why you were laid off with lupus? And yeah, I had to call the doctor because I was supposed to go in February and they have to change my appointment. And but I get tested for lupus. She wants to change it to twice a year now. So yeah, here's another one I've never heard in any. I mean, I don't remember there being things about rats in any Mother Goose book I had growing up. Want to hear another one? I'll give you one more. Pretty John Watts, we are troubled with rats. Will you drive them out of the house? We have mice, too, in plenty, that feast in the pantry, but let them stay and nibble away. What harm in a little brown mouse? That's hardly a rhyme, but it's got the picture. Oh, there's a book called The Real Mother Goose, and it gives the history of quite a few of what we know for Mother Goose ones, but some of these I've never, ever seen before. These are more like what my mother would have heard. My mother was born in 1929, and she used to tell me that she said, you know, some of the Mother Goose things she heard were a lot different than the ones she read to her children. So I think the rest of this is a box of books that was probably meant to go on eBay. Well, there's no, whoops, oh, I dropped that piece of paper. Cooking for Madam, Recipes and Reminiscences, Recipes and Memories from the home of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. So that's cool. Is it signed? Cooking for Madam. Not signed, though. But being that that's Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, that was probably meant to go on. Oh, now I know this was a box for eBay. Erica Jong Witches. Look at that cover art. That is wild. And then the back has this wild cat. That is great. Great illustration art. It's got some poems in it. Nightshade and Monkshood, which is the blue one. I like the illustrations in here. Who's the artist? So it's from 1981. Harry Abrams, publisher. Abrams Publishing does a lot of really good illustrated books. So, yeah, a lot of this is little bits of poetry, short stories, illustrated by Joseph A. Smith. Henbane, Thornapple, Witches in Flight, Favorite Haunts. That was probably meant to go onto eBay. What else is in here? X-Men graphic novel. See, that's the kind of stuff I would put on eBay because the live sales aren't really the market for in this particular live sale community. It's not particularly the market for pop culture kind of stuff. Oh, I wouldn't mind reading this again. This was wild. I like this. The Physique Book of Deliverance, Dane. It's a novel by Catherine Howe. I've read a couple of her books again. I really would not mind reading this one again. Basically, if I remember right, this is the one that it's a fiction book, but it takes place around the Salem witch trials or around that time. I think this one has the witch trials they're part of the story, but they're not totally integral to the plot. But Catherine Howe's stuff is really, really pretty good. She's very good. She's done another one called the Dante Club, which is the Dante Club gets together to study the works of Dante. So Dante's Inferno, and then it's a murder mystery, the Dante Club. And I absolutely love that one. That's how I found out about her and started looking for her books. So that one I will want to read again. So maybe it's not all eBay stuff, because I know that one's one of mine. Katie going to bed? Good night, Katie. Victoria, At Table with Family and Friends. I love these books that Victoria Magazine put out. I was so surprised when somebody said that they had copyrighted Shabby Chic, because Victoria Magazine had lots of that stuff, and I can't think of the other one. There were so many magazines in the 80s that had, all that stuff. Honey waffles. How to make your honey waffles. So that's another cookbook kind of thing. I need help with cookbook. I need cookbooks. If I had a pop culture sale, yeah, I probably would have an audience. One of the channels I watch is Mountain Man Treasure. He does a lot of pop culture stuff. And there's a whole pop culture community of resellers. That's a whole different community from the one that we know with Misty and Jeffrey. Hands-on nature, information and activities, exploring the environment with children. I remember doing quite a bit of this stuff with Michael. I homeschooled Mike for a while. He had some behavior issues when his mom died when he was 7. And then the next November, he lost his step-grandmother, who he adored. And then the November after that, he lost Bobchi across the street, which was the lady that I grew up with, having them as neighbors, and their daughter went to school with my sister. And but she was another grandmother to him. And so every November before Thanksgiving, it got hard for that kid. And because he kept losing people every November. So he started having some behavior issues. We also noticed that he He needed glasses. We got that taken care of, but he still was having trouble. It turned out he's dyslexic with letters. And by then, the state had taken over the schools in the area, and the company that was running the schools kept telling me, well, you need to sue the school district. Well, the school district didn't have control anymore. So they said you had to sue the company. I didn't have money for a lawyer for this nonsense. So I homeschooled, and I relied on what I had learned for secondary education. And I went ahead and found out what I needed to know, because the internet's a great source, and taught him cognitive therapy stuff and did all kinds of stuff to homeschool him and help him and give him the therapy he needed for his dyslexia. Which is probably why he's more well-rounded now than he is some of his peers. So I don't know. This is something called the Printer's Helper. I don't know what this is, but it's all, there's a couple of them. 12 issues, published by Kelsey Company, 1951, 1952. Not sure what they are. They literally are printers. Mitered corners, beveled corners, how to form a wood block, edge gumming, what causes type to be off its feet, whatever that means. I have no idea what these are going to be. These literally are about block printing and printing. See, like that's even got how to set the typeset. All those old school things. So that'll be one I'll have to find a market for. What else is here? Okay. Soviet Union. That's different. There's another one. 1978. The Great October Socialist Revolution. 1977. Soviet Life with the Olympic symbol. Moscow takes the baton from Montreal. So that one's all about Olympics. That's definitely probably a Melissa. So now, photos. Oh. One just fell out. Look at these little guys. Look at those little chubby faces. Oh. So the box is pretty shot. She looks like she's a school teacher and she's not happy. Olympics in Montreal Expo 67. Let me look. Because it's a Soviet Union magazine. The Soviet Union stuff came as part of the massive book collection. There were books in Ukrainian, in Russian, in German, it just was just amazing. I actually found there's a research library. I can't remember the address of it, but it's the only one in the United States, and they bought everything. Actually, I gave it to them. They paid for shipping. They took everything that was in Lithuanian. Let's see. Where is Brezhnev, president of the USSR? Siberia in focus. Olympics 80. page 39. Let's see. What Olympics are they? Now that says the Festival of Arts at Olympiad 80. I'm not sure what that part is. It is argued in the West that the Olympics cannot be held because of the present world climate. What's going on that you think you couldn't have it? Sports predictions. Not for Olympians. I don't know. So it was something about the Olympics in 1980, but I'm not sure. Okay. The Montreal Games were seen by 1.5 billion television viewers around the world. We expect the Moscow Olympics to be watched by some 2 billion. So, so I guess some of this was about the 22nd Olympic Games, and it says they are still 3 years away. So this is about some of the planning for the 1980 games that were to be in the USSR. Yeah, because this is from 1977. So this is all about the fact that they had been in Montreal, and then the next games in 1980 were supposed to be were in Moscow. So I love Olympic stuff. I used to watch Olympics. I would take off from work. I would try to work out my vacation around it. I think the Moscow Olympics were boycotted. So I will have to do some homework on that one. Check out the beard on this guy. That's some serious beard there. Oh, we showed the little kids. Oh, wow. This is from Chester. Chester, PA. West 3rd Street. I might save this one for the Historical Society. I felt so bad for the Chester Historical Society. They had bought 3rd Street Presbyterian Church and had just a month before gotten it listed, got the certification to be listed as a national landmark, and then some bastard set fire to it. So they lost their building, and they don't know what they're going to do. Luckily, they were still in the process of restoring and renovating the church, so none of their collection was in the church, so they didn't lose anything. This one's neat. It's in this little portfolio, and I don't know, can you see the griffin embossed on there? I love this just for the griffin. But I have some things I'm actually holding for them because they didn't have a place to put it yet. This is really cool. It's got this great piece of paper and then a great image. So I wonder why this one was so special. From Oxford, PA. I know where that is. That's Chester County. This one's from Philadelphia. From Lothrop's in Philadelphia. Whole nice little family there with the 2 daughters. They had to build the Expo Stadium in the middle of the river. Oh, that's never good when they do that. Is that the same guy? No, because the ears aren't big enough. Though I do like her dress. This one is by Trask of Philadelphia. I like when they have, like, sometimes there's some cool, graphic work on the back. I think the first one's a little scary. This one's starting to deteriorate. It's starting to fade out a bit. It looks better on the screen than it does in person. This one's got a lot of foxing. I kind of like that hair. She got a heck of an upsweep going on there. And I don't know if you could see it, but she's got the tiniest framed little gold glasses. Oh, honey, I miss having long hair. When they told me the heater had to be fixed, I chopped it. I still go like this, thinking I'm gonna like find a ponytail back there. My hair used to be long like Sam's on Thrift U, and I had been saving up, and I had wanted to get it permed because it's so there's a lot of it, but it's really fine. So it doesn't have any real body to it anymore unless I get a perm. And when they told me had to sign a waiver for that heater, well, that took care of that. I chopped my hair off figuring, well, that's an expense I'm not going to worry about until I get the heater done. Yeah, nice clean cut gentleman there. He looks nice. Yeah, photo exposures then took so long. There's a bunch of little ones in here. Where's somebody else interesting? There's an awful lot of foxing, though, on these. Well, she's at least got the hint of a smile. Oh, and she has a name. Frances E. Harvey. And she's kind of got that Mona Lisa smile going on then. Here's another one you don't. Oh, there's 2 copies of him. Wait, one's got writing on the back. JHW 1879 to 1879 to 1897. I don't think he looks older than, well, that'd only be like, teens or 20s. And that one's from Philadelphia. And there's 2 copies of that one. Some of these must be the Harvey family, because this is WMB Harvey. So that's William Harvey. Sometimes, you put stuff up and you put the family name up and you find people. The family finds them. This one says, "For my dear friend Charlie" on the back. I don't think the phone is picking it up. There's actually this is tan tinted. There's actually a little pink to the cheeks on that picture. And I'm sure the camera's not picking it up. The lips and the cheeks have just a hint of pink. I read an article one time about that there actually were people, that's what they were hired to do, to color in pictures. This is another one from Philadelphia. J. Ray Freeman, WBS 98, Archdale, and I can't read the handwriting. Nice looking guy. Little young for me now, but Ah. Oh, this is cute. This is another set of twins. I wonder if it's the same twins. This is Elizabeth Moore and Ruth Anna Moore. They each have a doll to hold. Aren't they cute? Oh, come on. There's a rubber band in here and it's sticking. Rubber's all shot. This one says Samuel Moore. So these all have to have been from one family. This one, the clothing seems a little more recent. He's got something on his lapel there, though. I'm trying so hard to hold him steady. So a lot of this group are Philly. This poor kid. What did they do to his neck? He's looking like he's looking like, well, wait, there we go. He's looking like he's scared to death, and they're like, maybe he's in a suit that's too big. He is Albin Yarnell, because that's got the name on the back. Well, it's the problem for that one to see. Oh, where'd it go? It's not that I can't see it, it's that I literally can't read it. I don't know what those two initials are. It's just such a different way of spelling. I can't read what those last two letters are. So, why pose next to an empty chair? They often did that because they didn't want you to move. So if you were standing, you often had a chair there to put a hand on it so that you wouldn't rock. Because when you had to stand perfectly still and not move, your body will often sway just a tiny bit, and that would be enough to throw the picture off. He didn't look too thrilled either. Look at the face on him. I don't know if that's going to focus well. Let's see. What ones haven't I shown? Westchester, PA, and this is Hannah Moore Barker. Oh, you think he had a glass eye? Oh, he might. Because you're right, the eye doesn't look right. There it is. No, he does have two pupils in there. But yeah, there's a shadow over the one eye that you're not seeing in the other. But I can tell you this, at some point somebody landed a punch right on his nose because his nose was broken. You can see that when you look at it really tight. Or up close like that. That one's kind of shown. Hey, tintype. Tiny tintype. This one's a tintype. Now that's going to be hard to see because it's going to glare. There we go. Tintypes are hard because tintypes will start to turn. They'll start going all black on you. So they can be a problem. So some of these are duplicates. Miller Scarlet. So we got another family name, Scarlet. So we've got more Scarlet and somebody else in here. And there's a bunch of, oh, wow. That rubber band's roached. Okay, so there's 4 of these, but it's the same 2 pictures. Oh, come here, you. I want to show them together because it's the same person, but her head's just a little different. She's smiling more in the other one. So that's pretty cool. None of them have a name on them. Yeah, see, some of these are in good condition, and then there's other ones where, you know, there's a lot of little dots of I mean, the 3 kids are so cute. I'm pretty sure this is not a batch I'm related to. I do the family tree, and we do not have any one of those last names in the family tree. My family tree is all on familysearch.org, and other chunks of the family have been able to add to it. So I knew we went back to Germany, but if you go back far enough, we'll go back to Switzerland. I don't have the Long family on there yet, but there is a book that I own. It's the Long family, and that goes back to 1683. We came over on the ship, the Charming Betty. And if we came over at that point and came to PA, well, we were probably Quakers and we're getting out of England. Alvin H. Yarnell. That's some tiny little writing there. But if we were getting out of England coming here in 1683, it most likely was because they were kicking a lot of the Quakers out. They wanted to get them out of England. And if I wanted to, because of the Long family, I could join the Daughters of the American Revolution. I could join, because we have this history, I could join the Daughters of the Confederacy or the Daughters of the Union. There was people on each side on that one. But there's been somebody in every war, every major war, up to and including when my oldest brother went to Vietnam. And we've got all the records from the Long family. I don't know if I showed her before. I love that she has this beautiful little brooch underneath her chin, but it's hard to see. And I don't know how many of you Harry Potter fans, but Imelda Staunton, I think, she played Umbridge in Harry Potter, and word just came out that she's going to be the next Queen Elizabeth II in the show The Crown. But I swear this face looks like her as a kid. I swear that looks like her as a little kid. I mean, I know it's not, but this is another one that was taken in Chester. No idea from who. So that was a nice surprise. You know, I used to do clean outs, and so these weren't from the branch of my cousin either. So that was a nice little surprise, and I have no idea who any of them are, but I think it's probably from there. That little thing actually wasn't a visiting card. That little tiny thing was a piece of paper that said help for a memory help on the other side. And it had the thing about 30 days, has September, April, whatever, and whatever. So what else is here? State Parks book. Oh, they're hard to see, but fairy folk. Isn't that cool? That's probably one I would keep because, oh, it's falling apart. A lot of my old books are falling apart. Isn't that so cute? I love it. I absolutely love that. Let's see if I can find a date. by Robin Goodfellow, Syndicate Publishing in Philadelphia. 1893. And I'll probably start sneezing again because of the type of paper this is. But it looks like it's all just little nursery rhymes, little stories for children. I don't want to hold it up too much. The pictures aren't great because they're that old etching style, which gets really dark. It's hard to see. I collect fairies, Polly's. That's why when I saw that one on Thrift You tonight, man, I went after that hard because it's so hard to find old porcelain fairies. That is pretty cool. So that's in there. Not much left in here. Well, hello, what are you? That's a button hook for your shoes. I don't know what that handle's made out of. You can kind of see through it. It's got some rust issues. Look this way. So I'll try to clean that up. Good night, protecting pearls. Yeah, I'm almost done. This box is just about empty. These I know I will put up on eBay. If you ever come across Osprey Men-at-Arms series books, these things do very well on eBay because you get reenactors who want to know, because what they do is they show you very detailed pictures of the uniforms. They show pictures of the gear, the insignia. My mother used to get a couple of these if she had to make costumes. I know we have the one for the British Navy. This one even has the tactical equipment because this is 1910 to 1988. Where's some of the 1910 picture? Well, that shows the back of how you'd carry your gear in the 1910 one. Yeah, I'm wondering if that's tortoise shell. I mean, the hook itself is pretty old. But I've never seen real tortoise shell, so I don't know if it's see-through like that or not. Then I'll find out. But I was looking to see if it had a front-facing picture. So if it'd be like that photograph that I had, but I'm not seeing a front-facing picture in here. But these are, the other thing I can tell too is like these all smell a little musty. Probably because the kitchen is not, that whole side of the house is not getting the heat that it should. I think the pump's starting to go. But those Osprey Men-at-Arms series, they have everything. They have stuff from all over the world. My son has one that he's kept because I had one that was the Japanese samurai, and it showed all of the types of armor that they had. And my mom had ones for the British Navy because she had to make some costumes for HMS Pinafore, which you need to have. You need to have the sailors, you need to have the captain, and then you have the what's Sir Joseph Porter KCB, but you have to have his naval, his uniform. I can't think what rank he is, so she always had them as reference. These are probably hers from reference too. Sketchbook 76, the American Soldier. An American Soldier, 1775 to 1781, a detailed collection of sketches, notes, and patterns. Yeah, this is the kind of thing my mother would have held on to. She made a couple of reenactors' outfits, so this even has how to make the shoes, the different kind of hats. So And then this one is Women's Dress in America, 1774 to 1783. So basically, this is the sisters from Hamilton. A Polonaise dress. That's definitely like the sisters. All this stuff behind me, yeah, because it got, everything was organized in the storage unit, that, you know, this section was one house, this section was another, and this, but when we had to move it all here, everything got jumbled up. So I no longer know what is from what estate until I open the box. So it's a treasure hunt, because I do that. I have to go through and, you know, no idea. These I will probably put up on Etsy because they have the patterns to them, especially seeing that these are the time period for Hamilton. So it got moved into my house when I when I was downsized out of a job. I held on to paying for that storage unit for as long as I could. There used to be 3 of them. 3. When this all started, there were 3 storage units, and that was just from my mother. But, you know, I've been working hard selling on eBay for quite a few years, and then and doing flea markets and yard sales in this area, and don't work out too well. But I have been selling it off for years and got it down to one big storage unit, and the piles were taller than me. I'm 5'4". So when it all had to come here, though, but once that came here, then also came the last estate came in just a little after I emptied the last storage unit. And so that had blocked the way. That was a lot of books. And there's still some boxes of books from that. So I spent the last 2.5 years doing mostly nothing but books. And so I do need help, but the problem was, yeah, my biggest thing would, I kept, like, my sister says, well, what can I do to help? I'm like, just come for an afternoon and take photographs for me. I will give you a stack of boxes. Here's my camera. Just fill that camera thing up, and then we'll download all the pictures. Just take photographs for me would be a help. And I can't, well, I don't want to do that. It kind of drives me nuts when people say, you know, what can I do to help? And then you give them something that would help you so much, but then they go, well, I don't want to do that. Then stop asking me what you want to do to help, because every time I suggest something, the answer is no. That's not helpful. Do I get overwhelmed? I got really overwhelmed at one point when I got lost, when I didn't have the art museum job, which was a job I loved. I loved being in the gift shop there. A great place to work, great group of people, fantastic. Delaware Art Museum is fantastic little art museum. It's a hidden little gem. But when I no longer had that job, I went into debt trying to keep my son in, to at least finish out the school year at the school he was in. And of course I still was paying for the storage units. And then I couldn't do that for another year. I couldn't find a job. You know, once you're over 40, people don't want to hire you. When you're pushing 50, it's even worse. And because I suddenly ended up with a 2-year-old when I was 30, I was putting myself through school because my dad didn't believe girls needed a higher education. So I had to always find my own way to pay for all that. So I was still working on it, paying for it as I could when I got my nephew. But when he moved out to go live with his father in a tiny little 2-room apartment so that he could go to a better school district than where I live, that was overwhelmed. Without having him around, I didn't have a job right away. He wasn't here, and I hadn't realized how much I had kept going after mom had passed, that I just kept going because I had the responsibilities of the job and I had the kid to raise, and it all just hit. And the depression just waffled me. And yeah, I was massively overwhelmed. And it does get to you. Now, this stuff gets to me because I feel claustrophobic here sometimes, because this is like right up behind me. And the other end, this was Mike's desk. And then at the other end was my little desk. And I kept coming down here because if you think this is overwhelming for being claustrophobic, when I can get, because that front end of the living room has ended up becoming a catch-all. There's camping equipment up there from him and other stuff from me. So I got to tidy all that up. So when he moved back in a year ago, that has been a huge help because that helped me. But also, I could not keep functioning that way. And I had talked to my doctor, and I am on medication for depression. That helped a great deal to at least get me to a more even keel. The other thing that was hard is that I inherited my parents' house, and I was extremely close to my mom. And I didn't realize that I didn't really grieve until Michael was out of the picture. And then I was alone with myself. And then everywhere you look, you see mom's stuff. And that was really hard because I was extremely lucky to have a parent that we got to where we could see each other as adults and find out that we liked one another, had a lot of the same interests. My mom was one of my best friends for a long time. So I not only lost my mother, I lost my best friend. So that was hard. And you get overwhelmed. And yes, you do. I know the feeling. You get paralyzed and don't do anything. And that was a big problem. I did finally find what worked for me to get out of that. I do better when I can get outside. If I start feeling overwhelmed, I have a bird feeder out there. I have a chair on the porch. It could be the middle of winter. I will put my coat on, take a cup of tea. I will sit outside and just be outside for as long as I can stand the cold, because it helps me keep on a more even keel. You have to find what works for you. I still don't sing very often, and Mike hollers at me now because that helps. You have to find the things that are the triggers for happiness for you, because it helps change those thought patterns and get you out of that paralyzing. And that is the first step. Let's see, what other questions do you have? Have I considered an auction for some of the items? There was one for any of the bigger stuff and some of the stuff that was worth more. There were some old pieces of crystal and a few old really nice pottery pieces, some beautiful furniture, but all that went to auction when mom died. And so it all became part of the estate and got split up between the 6 of us. So what I got left with was all the minutia, all the little stuff nobody really wanted to deal with, and whatever was in the house. So, and I tried to find the stuff that everybody wanted and give everybody the stuff that they wanted to get it out of the house. So I basically kind of got stuck with all the little stuff that even like the auction house didn't really want to deal with. So I wish I had booth spaces, but there's no place near me one of my videos is on the only antique mall anywhere near me. And it is the most high-end antique, they call them the antique mall. It's all in one house. But it is the most high-end one I have ever seen in my life. And it is not one that I could ever put a space in. I wish I could. There was a place in Marcus Hook that wasn't necessarily an antique mall so much as a junk shop, but you could rent spaces there. And for a while I had spaces there. The problem is that that's not in the greatest neighborhood. So you did tend to have, light-fingered discounts sometimes. Stuff would just disappear from your booth. It did help clear out some stuff, but it's a lot. What is it, Precious Lavender? Going through the same thing, except not with the family stuff, but it will soon because you have 2 sisters that are sick. Yeah, it can be rough. It's the first time I got downsized out of a job, and that was before I got the art museum job. I used to actually help some people clean out their houses and help some who were going into Fair Acres, which is the county nursing home, retirement home, however you want to look at it. But it's the county one for those that don't have enough money to go anywhere else. And I knew somebody who worked in intake, and I would help people figure out how they wanted to downsize, because you can't take your whole house worth of stuff. And they often didn't have family or didn't have family local. So I could help with that. And it was great. I got some cool stuff that way too as gifts. But for the most part, I would help them figure out what they wanted to keep and clear everything out. And we'd arrange an auction. We would arrange for an auction house to come take the bigger stuff. So I've done that whole route of having to empty a house. And my biggest problem for me is that because I'm on the edge of Chester, and Chester is kind of considered a crime-ridden city, this county thinks Chester is so much worse than it really is. And they think every part of the city is like, drug-infested crack houses or something. And it's not. There used to be one area of town you couldn't go to. That's the problem when you are a mid-sized city that has crime issues. They think the entire city's like that. So I can't do stuff here. I gave up having yard sales. I tried last summer having a $1 yard sale. And I didn't put it in the newspaper because the last time I did that, I put it cost $14. Now it costs $28 to put a yard sale thing in the paper. And that was a regular yard sale. And I made just enough money to cover the ad. I had so few people come. So I put it on Facebook, in Facebook Marketplace, put it online, advertise it as a $1 sale. Everything here, whatever it was $1. I had 7 people. 7. So it is easier to do for someone else. The other thing too with someone else is that usually they have room to move. And here there's no wiggle room. There's no room to move. It's a lot easier to help somebody else because they're not usually as packed as this. So that's a problem. I'd like to do some small lot boxes. The problem with some of that is, as you saw, is I don't know what I've got. And we almost have the playroom empty enough for me to change and do the live sales in there. Mike bought me a ring light. There is no room here to set it up because right on the other side of my table is a chest of drawers on the other side of this desk. And then there's a window. So there's no space there to put the ring light. So we want to get it to where I can be in there. It would give me a studio, as it were, would give me much more space. I would have the buffet that's in there that I could line everything up on the back for the sale, because there literally was no space here. And we've joked around and compared it to those sliding puzzles. You know, those little square ones where you slide all the little pieces around. You got to move this piece here to get this piece down here, to move this piece over here. And that's what the house is like right now. And to do box lots of stuff is I would try to have box lot of similar type of things. Like I'd love to do an ephemeral lot where it was just type of this or type of that. But there's no room to sit the stuff. For the stuff I have on eBay right now, I have a shelf over there in the back hallway. That's all the space I have to put stuff that's on eBay right now. So there's Tetris. There's just not that much space to move this to get to that. But because of kicking up the YouTube channel, which was not in my game plan until 2021, but 2020 happened, and health problems happened, and lockdown happened, which all stopped my hours at work to some extent. So I wasn't ready. I knew I wasn't as ready as I wanted to be, and I dove into doing a YouTube channel anyway because I had to. So now I'm still feel like I'm trying to play catch up. But I have more space because I have also spent, this whole year and the time I've been home more, really cranking out, going through stuff, working on things, getting through what I could, getting more on eBay. I changed everything to the same name. So the eBay store, the Etsy store, the YouTube channel, the Instagram, all of it is the same name. And the Instagram is literally only a few days old. And I've had a live today and did not know that it doesn't save lives. If you do something live on Instagram, it doesn't save it. It just disappears. So that was a surprise. So I think I only have 2 things on my Instagram so far. So it's well, see, that's what Melissa, like you were saying, is like lot boxes that are, say, paper or linens or fabric. The fabric I can't even get to yet. That'll be fun. Because the fabric's got other stuff in front of it. Linens, I know there's a tub of linens upstairs in the master bedroom. There's at least one more box from at the other end. There's a whole steamer trunk in the attic full of linens and baby clothes from the late 1940s, early 1950s. So I really want to get to where I have themes of stuff, simply because, one, I think it'd be more fun. But it also, though, would help me find more stuff. Like with the linens, I know when I get through that tub sorted out, there's going to be enough there to do an entire linen sale. And that tub has got everything from crocheted doilies in it to tablecloths in it. So I don't know how you find Instagram lives either, Lavish Mango, and I did one. I thought I was filming to have it be a post on Instagram. But it didn't work out that way. Like when you do a live on YouTube, it stays as a video. People can come back later and see it. And I kind of thought Instagram did the same thing. So I was very, very wrong. So that live disappeared once it was done. I'm going to show you what that live was about. Look what I found. I think I had 3 or 4 people that found me when I did that. So at some point there will be a there will be a thing like, who did it? Mid-Century Wasted did the did the whole thing of going through the catalog. Oh, some of my scouts have been here, well, before all this, and actually helped with stuff in the yard, because the yard had also gotten completely overwhelming. I had foot surgery on the one foot, bed rest for 6 weeks. Yard went total, went back to nature. And it's a big yard in the back. It's big yard in the back. And then I was back to work for 16 months, was at wood badge training for Boy Scouts, had an accident during one of the games, and snapped 2 ligaments in the other ankle. Again, 6 weeks of bed rest. Again, the yard never quite got back. So, so finally, we've been working real hard the last 3 years to really get everything straightened out. The yard no longer looks like a sapling forest. As spring comes, you guys will see the yard. I have a video I have to put together to show the tree. The big tree is gone. So I have done videos about, setting a goal and having that goal in mind to keep doing stuff. And one of my first goals was to get that giant tree cut down that was dead. And it's down, and I have video, and I have some pictures. I need to put that video together so you guys can see it. You'll see just how big it is. Oh, the wish books. I can remember spending hours going through the wish books in the 70s when I was a kid. I do need to get, the only thing I could think of how, I'm pretty sure it was Mid-Century Wasted, when she did part of a Sears wish catalog every Sunday, I think she did. She must have a tripod, because she had it so her hands were on the thing, on the book. I don't have a tripod. I need to get one. This is 1980. So Christmas 1980, I would have been 15. So this should be interesting. And one of the things I showed, and I'll show it to you, that I cracked up is that there is 2 full pages of those mushrooms. 2 full pages. Now, look at, I never knew how much stuff there was. Pans, and where's the one? There it is. Wallpaper. I never knew they made wallpaper. Oh, you were born in 67, honey. I was born in 65. But I found that. I thought that was cool. And then I got these 2 in the mail, and I want to use them to make videos, because I want to do what she did. But I got the Sears Craft Fun catalog. This is from December 1971. Now, I remember my mother having one of these purses. I sold it on eBay 12 years ago for, God, $100. Those things, people want those probably more now than they did before. But where is the one? Okay. They call them sparkling mosaics. We call them gravel pictures now, and they got a couple of names. I love these. I absolutely love these gravel pictures, but not that cat. That cat. I have that cat. I love these. I have a small collection of these gravel pictures, but that cat, my sister made that cat. I have that one. Now, they are cool on there because they were done on wood. Later on, they made them on like plastic frames on a piece of cardboard. And yeah, some of the Sears catalogs do. They do go for high. I might still have these in the house. I don't want to crease this too much. It's called fun film, okay? And you would take the wires and you would make these flowers yourself and dip them in the film and let them dry. And that was something else that was my sister's. And she let me keep that. So this has just got some great stuff in it. And some of it's the stuff that, we're all looking for now. Crewel work, ready to sew kits, doll kits. But I need to get a tripod though, so that I can sit, some little short thing that I can sit and have the camera looking down on the magazine so that I can go through the pictures. But I got that one, and I got that one really cheap because it's not the Sears Wish book. And then this one. So Hershner is still in existence. Hershner still sells stuff. Look at the graphics on this. 1926, and it is Hershner Catalog. Hershner is still in existence, and over Christmas I've seen a couple of them talk about it. Misty did, George the Antique Nomad did, and I let him know Hershner is still around. But they were talking about the Christmas ornaments that are, well, not this one, but they have this silky covering on them, but then they have all the beads stuck into them. Hershner still sells those kits. And some of the vintage ones can get really, really expensive. But, I mean, my grandmothers were buying stuff from Hershner catalogs all the time. My mother bought quite a bit. But you could still find them online. The hardest part is spelling that name, Hershner. But they still exist. Sandy, what's this? Instagram live and have an option? Well, it gave me an option to download it. Oh, so if you download it, is that it? If you download it, then you can post it as a post? Because when I went back in, I couldn't find it. I didn't know what I'd done wrong. I'm still learning Instagram, and it doesn't come with a manual. But I just thought that this was so cool. This is the back cover. And it's all this fantastic embroidery stuff. I like this one because it shows the years that those dresses were from. Hey, Mary Maxim. Does Mary Maxim still exist? I used to get stuff from Mary Maxim's as well. Where's the one? I thought this was cool too. Look what they have. Wouldn't you love to find one of them? They're covers for your bird cage. Isn't that cute? And you could get this stuff and then you would do the embroidery on them. There was one set. Let me see if I can find it. That I saw it and I'm like, I really, really, really want to find this. Oh, come on. Where are you hiding? There she is. I want to find this set. It'd be just, this is on my, what is it, BOLO list? Be on the lookout for. 4625. What is it called? Doesn't have a name? Some of them have names, some of them just have numbers. But they had, so they made a valance, curtains, bedspread, and then of course all of the little doily things. But it's Japanese lady with the parasol. And then it got me like, can you see that balance in the back? I would love to find that. That is awesome. That is just awesome. But I thought that was kind of cool. I have so many transfers because my Aunt Harriet, who technically was a great aunt, taught me how to do embroidery. And I'm out of practice, but I kept every transfer I found. I have transfers from out of magazines, from out of work basket magazines. I have transfers from Aunt Harriet. I have transfers from my grandmother, from my mother, from my other great aunts, any of them I could find. Now, this is also something I've never seen before. These were for over your sewing machine, over your treadle sewing machine. I've never seen covers like that before. That was a surprise. That was new. Ornament kits at Mary Maxim. Oh, okay. So I remember Mary Maxim being some other catalog. They used to have, it came in a tube. My grandmother Nanny used to get them, I think, from Mary Maxim. And it was some kind of fabric paint. But it came in a tube about that long, and it had a ballpoint pen tip on the front. Oh, man, paper dust. And you could do like, you would instead of embroidering, you'd use the paint from that roller ball. And you could do tiny little cross stitch. Well, not tiny, but you could do cross stitch with it. Any transfer. I'm looking to see if there's one in here that might be a pattern that's floating around. There's so much embroidery stuff in this house. I even have patterns that are for pillowcases. Oh, these are cute. Speaking of pillowcases, look at those. Aren't they neat? But I just got these two just on a whim, and because they were really, really not expensive. Partly, I think, because of the fact that everybody wants the Christmas catalogs. I mean, that other Sears one I found here. So I didn't have to pay for that. And the back cover is off. The back cover is stuck inside of it. I can do cross stitch. I can do some basic embroidery stitches. I can do needlepoint. I never did do crewel work. I can't crochet. I don't know how. I can't knit that well. I can knit a scarf. I have used up a lot of yarn that was in this house because for a couple of years there, I would just knit, and I would knit. I would spend the week at Boy Scout summer camp, and I would knit scarves because, you know, the bus on the way up, I'd knit. I can only knit a straight, I can do a scarf. That's all I can do. I don't know how to, I can't make sleeves. I can't do anything round. I only know one stitch. That's it. That's all I ever got taught. But I used to knit a lot of scarves to use up a lot of the yarn that was here, and then donate them in the winter, you know, as well in the fall. I would donate them to places that would give them away. I made ones for adults, one for kids. What I really wish I had, and I have to get together with a friend's sister. She's retired now, but she does crocheting Afghans on commission. And I have some brown yarn. It's variegated browns and tans, and I'd like her to make me an Afghan. It'll cost me $50, but it'll be worth it because I don't have. I just want one of those that has like the, what is it, like the zigzag or chevrons or something. Because those seem to be the warmest ones, and all the ones, we all had them from my grandmother, but over the years of using them, you know, they get worn out. But she decided on mine to do something different, and mine was the lumpiest and the coldest sucker you could ever have, and it was Pepto-Bismol pink and dark brown. It was ugly looking. I couldn't stand that thing. But the ones that are that simple zigzag pattern, those are wonderful and warm, and they kind of like keep, you need it to keep a layer of air. And the one I had these big lumps, and then an open space, and then another big lumpy thing, and then an open space. So you were never warm in it. And if you tried to lay on it, if you got it underneath you, you're laying on all these lumps. It was pretty bad. Oh, wow. They still have the pillowcase kits there too. I used to work at Joann Fabrics, and for a short while in the 90s, they were doing pillowcase kits. I know there's probably some up in that front room. There is a tiny little front bedroom that's all my stuff that I can't even get to. But that's a lot of my stuff from when I moved back in, and we had a problem with somebody going through my stuff, so I couldn't put my stuff in the attic. Anything that was up there at the time, they were going through and taking what they wanted. So that was not okay. So I had it in the front bedroom, which has a lock on the door. So a lot of my stuff is in there. When I crochet, it makes you feel like you're an old fart. Oh, hon, you're not an old fart. If you can crochet, you are a fabric artist, because it really is we're losing the art form of any of the handcrafts because we just are so scattered, and grandchildren don't spend enough time with the grandparents or with the aunts and uncles. Nobody, with two parents working, nobody's around to do these crafts anymore. And so they're losing it. I have one of my former scouts. He knows how to crochet. He loves it. He can make some really cool stuff too. But the few people I know that are younger than me that are learning how to do some of these handcrafts, they're finding it out on YouTube because they don't know anybody who knows how to do it or to teach them, or the grandparent that might know how to do it is across the country. So I did see your comment about Tricam. That probably is them, because I know we could only get them. She could only order them through Mary Maxim. And for all I know, there might still be a few of those chemical pen things here. So a single crochet could be very warm, but very boring. Well, that's why I like the ones that make that V. I like those. I do like those. So Mike wanted one, and I said, well, good luck, honey, because I don't know how to do it. So, and I know, I don't think I still have it. For a while on my Etsy store, I had a knitting book that actually was from the 40s, and it was the pattern book to knit men's pattern socks. I don't know how to do that. So I've seen a couple places where you're seeing some things come back, but it depends on the community. Because I know there's down in Arden, Delaware, at the Arden Club, there's a Knitters Guild that started. and they get together and they knit, and they stay at the Christmas shop that they do every year. They have had some fabulous stuff, not just, your typical scarves or mittens, but gloves and fantastic hats and just all kinds of stuff. And they get together and they're teaching people, and they're teaching kids, and they're teaching other adults, and it's just a whole little community of people coming together and knitting, men and women. Now, I think it's awesome. I would love to have a community around here that would quilt, because I would like to learn how to quilt better than I do. Because the biggest problem with doing a quilt, even if you do it machine stitching, is that finishing off. Because it really helps to have a frame, and everybody would get together and you'd all sit and help do the big overall, the big quilt stitch, the pattern that would stitch all the layers together. And everybody used to get together and do that. And now you don't have anybody around to do that stuff. And it's real hard and boring to do that part on your own. So, vintage cuffs. Oh, cuff. Yeah, what kind of cuffs? Somewhere in this house, I may still have vintage collars. Not women's collars, box of men's collars, the really stiff, starched ones. I used to make purses. I haven't made fabric purses in so long. I used to make them and sell them at the Arden Fair, which is a big craft fair that's always during the summer. It's one day only in Arden, Delaware. You've had a lot of crafting and fiber teachers in your life. Oh, you're so nice. Melissa Lynn, you have an Etsy shop? Melissa Lynn, I now made you a moderator. You now have a wrench. Did it do it, or did it not? Because I know I only had 2 moderators and they went to bed. But did it do it? No, I don't want to remove moderator. I wanted to make you a moderator, because this way moderators can share links. So if you want, you can share the link to your Etsy shop in the comments. There we go. There's your wrench. Yeah, because that's one thing is moderators can add live links. I am on Facebook, but I do not have this Overstuffed House is not a Facebook page of its own. I don't have the time. If it had not been for Misty and mostly Misty's fault, they really encouraged me to get on that Instagram. I probably would not have done it, because I kept thinking, going, I just can't start yet another thing that I have to worry about trying to post on or list on, or but it's her and George and Zeno. In talking to them, they're like, no, even if you don't post a lot, you really need to have an Instagram presence. And it won't be you do what you can with it, but you should really have some kind of Instagram. So I did start that this past week. But I have not. I've seen an awful lot of them have started. Thrift You has started one, which I am on that. I did join that. But they have started a Facebook page. Jocelyn's got a Facebook page. I mean, there's so many of them have Facebook pages that, but I was like, I can't do a Facebook page for this Overstuffed House, because I just don't have the time. You can post on Instagram and then send it to Facebook. Yeah, I've sent a couple of my YouTube channel videos to my own personal Facebook. And I know some of the friends from the theater group where we were all trained in high school. Well, it wasn't part of high school. It was a community theater group. And we're scattered all over several countries at this point. And I think one or two of them are subscribers to my channel. I'm pretty sure Rebecca's Retro is. She doesn't have a channel, but she has a eBay store, Rebecca's Retro, which is vintage clothing. But I really haven't had. I have one niece of the family members. I think I only have one niece that actually has subscribed to the channel. I'm not on Instagram and not sure my brain will understand it. I feel your pain there, Polly's. Polly's projects. I completely get it because I'm working on that too. So. See, there we go. There's Melissa's shop. You took your few posts down due to the changes in YouTube. And Crafter Friends did also. Uh-oh. Did YouTube do something stupid that they're not letting crafters show stuff on YouTube? I have enough trouble keeping up with all the bizarre changes going on in eBay. What is this about setting silverware in order? Fork, knife, spoon. Yeah. I can never remember which side what goes on for the silverware. Simply because in our family, there were some that were left-handed and some that were right-handed. So depending on where somebody was sitting would change. My mother always changed up how the silverware sat. I do know if you are at a dinner that has enough silverware that it's from the top of the plate down and the outside in, usually I think you start at the top down. Same name, Etsy and Canada Poshmark, Serendipity Mel. Okay. Oh, with kids seeing stuff. All of my YouTube stuff where it asks me when I post it, is this for kids? I say no. I have that on everything that goes up. When it asks me, is this for kids? I just flat out say no, because I don't want to deal with that problem. Even though, 99% of the content of what I put up wouldn't be a problem for kids, I just say no. Because, yeah, I don't. That's why about you getting sued. That's why it's such a big deal. I'm going to take 20 seconds to get political here. There was a bill, and I cannot remember the number of it, that Mitch McConnell in the Senate wanted to tag on to the stimulus thing that would take away protections from channels like YouTube, Facebook, anything that's out there in the public, any of these things that Twitter, where a third party does something on your let's use the word channel, then you could be sued. So the corporation could be sued for something that a third party did because of something they saw on your channel. Right now, you can't really be sued for that. Like, you can't sue YouTube because somebody saw something on a channel and then they went and did something else that was illegal. Then that person or the victims of that person cannot sue YouTube. But they want to repeal that, which would take away, yeah, that particular law has some issues with it and it needs to be adjusted, but they wanted to repeal it outright. So that's the people it protects the most are people like you and I, where, if somebody said, why would we get sued, and then why would you sue YouTube? That's crazy, and that's what that protection was for. And if they get rid of it, then anybody could sue anybody for anything that they didn't like that they saw on your channel. And that's just that's just crazy. So I already get people making comments on my channel about you're mentally ill, you're a hoarder, you're out, and I'm like, you did not see the first video. Go away, go piss off somebody else, because I ain't got time for you. I have deleted those comments on the channel pretty quickly. So that's all right, honey. I know it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm fading. I'm ready to go to bed. The voice is starting to crack. And I have to get up tomorrow and trek right to the 3rd floor and finish packing a few things, weigh a few more, and so I have everything set for invoices, because I am determined. I have to have everything set and out before the 24th, when the new postal rates go into effect, because it's either the 22nd or the 24th, the new postage rates go out, and so shipping costs are going to go up. So my night owls, I hope you had fun. It's been fun talking to you. It's fun when I can get to the end of this and then I can actually see some of the chat. When we're going through stuff, I don't catch a lot of the chat. So on my personal YouTube channel, what happens is I usually wait a day and then I go back and I'll watch this, because then I can give another thumbs up to my own channel. But then I can actually read the chat as it goes by. So, because I know I miss so much. I miss so much in the chat. So let's all go home. We're already home. Let's all go get some sleep. I'm going to take Superman upstairs to bed with me and put him in the china closet where he will be safe, because that is just absolutely amazing to find that. That is fantastic. So, Lavish Mango, yeah, it's only 11 o'clock at night for you, but it's 2:15 in the morning for me. And I'm tired. So, and I have to be up early in the morning. So, good night, guys. And next week will be a live sale. And I'll see what now we have some things for here that I kept. Superman's not going to be one of them. I'm keeping him. So unless he's worth over $100, then maybe I will sell him, because I'm still working on that heater thing. But you guys have a good night, and these are fun. It gave you a great idea to do the same. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of fun, and one of the reasons I started this was, let's do the treasure hunt together. It's far more fun doing this stuff with someone. So, and let's face it, I have a lot of treasure, and this is just one room. 10-room house. So, and I had to get caught up on videos so that you guys can see a little more of what I have been doing. So, all right, sweet dreams, everybody. Stay well, stay safe. Try to find reasons to laugh every day, because, life without laughing is just no damn fun at all. So good night, all. Where's that off button? I do this every time. There we go. End brush.